Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're already here, as I always say, no rest for the best. This is why you're hopping right into Boom ID versus Clutch Gamers, the second semi-finals here of the day for the ESL One Genting LCA qualifiers. The winner is out. The winner moves on and is out and ahead towards the grand finals, and the loser out of the tournament. It's as easy as that.
What kind of tournament would we be if we just eliminated the winner?
Something to be put on by Moodog or something for sure. Shots fired. Yeah, let's set right into the draft. I'm hitting all the right buttons. Here we are, Clutch Gamers Boom ID. No pick just yet, but a couple of extra bans that we see more often than not these days. Tiny taken out, Nyx Assassin, and the Queen of Pain here.
Worth noting that both teams came in from the round of 12, so Clutch Gamers, maybe they were an invite, but they were only a tier 2 invite, right?
Yeah.
Boom ID had to... well, actually, we're also a tier 2 invite, but yeah, again, both of them coming in from the first round and defeating the seeded team in front of them, you know. Clutch Gamers, which we cast yesterday, taking down Fire Dragoon, and Boom ID taking out Happy Feet. So both teams have already proven themselves, you know, they definitely deserve to be in the semifinals. But, you know, now they need to show, all right, we're actually deserving of the grand finals, and we want to take on TNC. We can take on TNC. Going into this, let me ask you, who do you favor?
Clutch Gamers.
Alright, that was an easy question.
Yeah.
I just want to illustrate, you know, Clutch Gamers, I do think are the favorites going into this, but sometimes you don't even want to be the favorite. You know, sometimes, you know, it's nice to be the underdog. It just gives you a little bit of an edge. Yeah. Boom ID, they haven't necessarily been looking too hot lately. They have been playing in the Zotec SCA Cup, whatever it's called. Came in third, which is still respectable, but at the end of the day, against GeekFam, they didn't really look good at all. So, you know, there's a little bit of a skill and performance disparity here, where I think Clutch Gamers, again, that's why I think they are the favorite teams. And I mean, we did see it yesterday; they were really strong.
Yeah, yesterday, the day before that, in the games like, up against New Beginning, they had the same draft open, I believe, here with the Bane and the Earthspit, and Earthspit first pick already here for try. And wouldn't be too surprised to see the Fly Solar Bane now picked up as well. I mean, is there any reason not to pick that here?
Not really. I do think it's like a solid opener. It's actually pretty good.
Dire team ban.
Doom instead, alright.
Alright, we're gonna go for Doom here. Maybe this is why GeekFam has been banning it all the time. Doom. Literally, I've only seen Doom right now because he's been banned. Interesting pickup here for sure. Most likely a 3-position Doom.
Remaining.
I say most likely because
team
who knows, maybe they're going to throw some sort of like wanky support duo with like Doom or Earthspit, like some really greedy stuff.
Yeah, I do want to say it can't quite remember because I'm really bad with like remembering matches, but I do want to say it has been Velo on the offlane Doom, or as Saitama as he's tagged up here, because we don't have a ticket unfortunately still.
10 seconds remaining.
But yeah, you can try and confirm that while we look at the next bands. Medusa also taken out, like that's a go-to pick for a lot of teams these days, and the Titans actually taken away. So Clutch Gamers don't want that tanky offlaner. Maybe some information there for Boom ID, like perhaps Clutch Gamers are looking for a melee core here that would be hard pressed here to really deal with a Tide Hunter. But for now, taking no time to think about that, man. Again, I don't really think they need to worry about melee cores with the Razor anyway, right?
No, not really. Razor's pretty good. That's why he's like a solid opener as well. You know, Razor's very flexible. You can safe lane him if need be. You can go aggressive with him. You can go mid. He counters a variety of heroes. He does well against a variety of heroes. He has flash run capabilities. He can push with the Aghanims. So there's lots of reasons for why Razor's like a very solid opener. It is a target that can be doomed, but at the same time, Razor's builds into very, you know, stats items and build tanks up usually. I mean, we've seen just now the build with the Shiva's Guard hood, making him very tanky. So even if you do doom him, what happens then, right? That's always the question. Like, are you really going to shut him down with a doom? Oftentimes, you probably prioritize other targets in that scenario.
Even the Shadow Shaman, right? I mean, unless he already got this hex off, but even then, like, it's probably a more valuable target because Razor, even doomed, he's still gonna run super fast, right? Because Doom silences and mutes. No, it doesn't mute unless you get like an axe or something. But certainly it doesn't break. It doesn't disable passives. So Razor will still be speedy. I think they changed it around a couple of times, so I'm not entirely sure. But
so they, so it is the
Yeah.
Velo Doom, by the way. I did check. It's like the third most picked hero actually. Took me
10
ages to
seconds
find his
remaining.
profile, by the way. Not as easy as you'd think.
yeah.
5 seconds.
All right, the Tusk
remaining.
making another appearance. Very popular in SEA. Together with the Shadow Shaman, like this pretty decent combo. Especially with, in the lane with the Razor. Right? If that ends up being in a safe lane, maybe they... any sort of opening they get to the Doom, they should be able to convert that into a kill with this kind of a strength, even though Doom is kind of tanky, but he requires a couple of levels to actually get to the point with the Scorched Earth.
It does apply break, the Doom.
Ah,
with
it does,
with the
okay.
Agnus, with the Agnus.
With the
I
Axe,
mean,
okay,
it always applies a mute, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this Wyvern, it's a good pick, I hear. There's lots of disables here, so having a Cold Embrace is really important.
10 seconds.
Razor's also one of those
remaining.
heroes that you like using the Cold Embrace,
5
you like using the
seconds
Winter's
remaining.
Curse of the target next to the Razor, because Razor usually has a lot of damage stolen in a team fight. But usually Razor doesn't hit strong enough to like instantly kill the target, which we discussed in a series yesterday. You don't really want to use the cold. I mean, yeah, you want to ideally get a kill with it, but at the same time you also want to stall with it, right? You want to buy yourself time to be able to position yourself better. If you just use cold, I keep wanting calling it Cold Embrace, even though it's a Winter's Curse. If you use the Winter's Curse on a target and the target
Radiant
immediately dies,
team pick.
yeah, it's nice to get the kill, but at the same time it's not much of a disable anymore.
Yeah. Well, for now, the Underlord, another kind of tanky hero. Seen that a couple of times here throughout the SEA qualifiers. Just big old tanky slug out of the off lane. Can that'll put the Tusk in the
10
4 role,
seconds remaining.
as we probably expected that to be anyway. Outside of
5
Geek Fam, who
seconds
like to run
remaining.
it sometimes in the off lane on March, but yeah, do we even need to talk about this? I mean, teamfight control, teamfight damage, mobility, and you build into these aura items and mechanism, pipe, whatever you need.
Very solid pick here. Helps Siege.
Dire
Razor
team
Underlord
back.
is a very solid Siege. Like I said, you have the sustain from the utility items, but then also you have the crowd control with the Pit of Malice, and then of course, yeah, you have the Razor Aghanim's is a really strong item here to pick up for sure. Tinker is a good hero to sort of like
10
obviously
seconds
hold
remaining.
the sieges with and defend them with, right? It's just
5
really annoying to
seconds remaining.
push into the Tinker. It definitely forces you into certain items, even on the Razor. I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe he's the one to build up the pipe, and then you have maybe like the Crimson Guard and then the Guardian Greaves on the Underlord. So
Yeah.
basically, make sure you have a good spread. So it's not only all of it is on one hero.
Or even 2 pipes eventually, right?
Maybe
Wouldn't
it
be
would
the
be
worst
over.
thing either.
It could be an overkill. It's been done before for very good reason, and
Yeah.
it's not out of the realm of possibilities here. But I think it would be a bit overkill
Radiant
because
team back.
it'd be a lot of gold invested into that. And I think you need. I mean, I think already it's a bit of a stretch to consider pipe for the Razor, just because I think if you have a utility core like Underlord, usually you want to have him also build the utility items.
Yeah.
In that scenario, you obviously you want like. I think in this game you probably want something along the lines of Drum,
10
Sanji, Yasha,
seconds
Aghanim's for the
remaining.
Razor, really. So that he doesn't get kited around by the Wyvern or by the Doom.
5 seconds
That
remaining.
even if he does get doomed, that he's still able to run around and just kite people or just run around and just not get killed. So hype a little bit of a stretch here, but both teams looking for that hard punching carry. Once again, a bunch of them have been taken out already. Dusa, Terrorblade. There's still some in the pool though that I think are really good here. It's not
Yeah.
Luna territory, let's call it that, for either team really.
Yeah, like we can start thinking about champion heroes. This is not really a Meepo game with all the AoE control that you already have and the single target damage. I'm thinking about like even something like a Chaos Knight here, perhaps. Fairly tanky, like you can still have that mobility. You still have to deal with the root, but I think you can withstand that. It is a melee co-op against a Razor, but at the same time, you still have, even if one of the Illudens
10
or yourself
seconds
is
remaining.
drained, still have the rest that hits pretty hard, and you can dispatch with the Razor rather
5
quickly with the
seconds
minus armor.
remaining.
I think the issue for CK here in this game is that they have really good ways of responding to the illusions. They have hacks. They have good ways of sort of scouting out which illusion is which is the real one. They have the defensive snowball. They have the
team
firestorm. So I think in that regard, I think it's a little bit risky to go on a CK, but I was gonna make that point. You know, it's a bit risky to run the CK and then they just pick a Clinks. Also very risky. They have good amount of catch here. That said, you know, Clinks is just almost raw damage, really. That hero's damage incarnate, which is really important against the Razor and the Underlord. Both are very tanky heroes.
5 seconds
Clinks can also
remaining.
just 2-shot, 3-shot the Shadow Shaman, you know, in the mid game.
Yeah.
Similarly, the Tusk as well. Well, Tusk is a bit difficult because you can just snowball. So I don't hate the pick, but I think it leaves them very vulnerable because, you know, if they do find the initiation on the Clinks, then a lot of the damage is suddenly gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the Tinker still, but then there's no more physical damage.
The problem that I see with these two cores, Tinker and Clinks, is that both of them really want to stay on the outskirts of a team fight. Like, they just want to go in, just stand on the edge, just press the spells. In the case of Clinks, he just wants to find somebody, kill them, and then get out and do the same thing again, almost like a Weaver or a Slark even.
Right.
And that means that the only frontliner that you really have is the Doom. And if he's off the table, if he's not available, then, or if, as you said, if they find the catch on the Clinks first, or the Tinker for that matter, it's a bit of an issue. And now, Boom-ID, they go back and pull out the Arc Warden, which is a very nasty and annoying hero in its own right.
I'm loving this draft from Boom-ID. I'm all in on Boom-ID in this game. Like, this draft has me convinced. They have really solid siege with the Razor, with the Underlord, and then they have the Arc Warden. He's actually surprisingly good against the Tinker. Oh, not surprisingly, but he's pretty good against the Tinker. It's not as easy as you think against the Arc Warden as a Tinker, really. You need somewhat of an item advantage, really, to deal with him. And, of course, Arc Warden has a lot of, like, he has kill potential for days on everybody here.
Like low risk, high reward kind of plays that they can do eventually. Like once you are like 5 or 6 slotted on the clone, you just send it out to lane, and it always forces a huge reaction. It's not enough to just send one hero to deal with that, like it would be with like illusion heroes. Right? You think about like Naga Siren, even like Anti-Mage. Like you send one hero, deal with the illusions, counter push a creeper. It's not enough because if you send one hero, he's just gonna die to the Arc Warden clone. And then even if you kill it, it's 180 gold. Yay! Like,
for sure.
How much does it matter really when you're 40, 50 minutes into the game?
Boom-ID, they're looking to win over my heart with this level 1 smoke. You know,
yeah.
trying to create as much chaos as early as possible, killing people left, right, and center. I'm really looking forward to this performance. You know, I find there's like a little bit of an irony for them to pick Arc Warden against Chappie. It's like, you know,
yeah,
we'll show you. I can totally imagine.
Challenge,
I can totally imagine. You know, Chappie comes to SEA, just brings his like meepit Arc Warden into the pubs and just ruining the pubs just by killing everybody with Arc Warden. And they're like, you know what? This is what it feels like.
Well, we'll see whether they can actually make that work. For now, it seems like the classic 2 for 2 rune exchange. Arc Warden will pick up, perhaps 2 even. Yeah, looks like it. Support blocking. Standard stuff so far. I mean, they did make this one attempt, but only finding the Earth Spirit who gets the rollout in time. And
the sooner he has the double Wraith Bend on the Arc Warden, the more likely it is for him to dominate this mid lane. Oh, Doom. So much damage stolen.
Also go into level 1 Scorched Earth. Can't get a creep anytime soon. But as I say that, of course, the Dragon and Creep have long guarantees at level 2 unless someone else is sharing the experience. If you play properly, there we go. And then you can go back. Creep's only spawning level at minute 1 anyway. Like, you need to find something else to do on the Doom anyway, regardless, right?
Alright.
On bottom, alright. Bit of a tussle here. The shots will actually block in Chappie. Does not have the invis, only the searing arrows. But now turning this around with a roll. Part of me dropping lower and lower. Another firestorm here. Not gonna be enough to prevent the first blood. Only enough to send Chappie back a little bit further away. But try on this Earth Spirit, like we've seen it up against New Beginning. Extremely proficient on that hero. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Saitama still being contested here, even with this first creep wave, I believe, that he's had.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay from him. He pulled the creep wave, and instead of like having the creep wave versus creep wave between these towers, he actually only pulled his own range creep. And then he had to tank a lot of the creep tags to keep the creep wave around. And then, you know, the Shadow Shaman was pretty smart about it. He just came in and made it sure that Saitama had an even more difficult time. Mid lane, this is most likely to be the most 1v1 matchup we've seen in a while. I'm calling that even though both roamers look to be roaming. See Tusk already moving towards the mid lane.
No.
But yeah, this is really both of them need experience badly. You can't really afford to have support sitting here for too long. Maybe I could have seen either the Tusk or the Earth Spirit sit here for like first minute, but they really need to leave these two heroes alone.
Yeah. The mode of Fly Solo is trying to be annoying, but without the Arctic Burn, not a whole lot that you can do. And, Underlord level 2 only, but Stout Shield, Atrophy Aura. It's actually is actually doing this right now. Is he dragging another creep wave?
No, I mean how are they gonna stop it really? If the Earth Spirit comes in, there's gonna be a Tusk as well. Like it's really difficult to contest this Underlord and the Tusk. Both are very tanky heroes, right?
Even though just a roll.
Yeah,
well
and there's
played.
no hard disable either.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to get the creeps, the neutral camp. But Underlord just stands there. Has to TP out now because Arctic Burn coming full down. That is a lot of damage.
Was he blocked? He wasn't, right?
Not really.
He
no.
just stopped moving.
He wanted to keep the creep aggro because
Yeah, I know because of the creeps,
yeah,
right? But
with the
I
Dark
felt like
rules.
he stood there for 2 seconds longer than he needed to.
yeah,
I don't know.
who knows?
Mid lane, Tinker feeling the wrath of the Arc Ward now. Like the beginning is actually pretty good for Tinker, but again, once Arc Ward hits higher level, has a double Wraith Band, this becomes a really difficult lane. And I'm curious to see. You know, I say that they need time or they need the lane to themselves, but I wonder if the Tinker's ever gonna scream for help because this is a very rough lane for him going forward.
Got himself a salve, so back up to full health at least. And also holding on to a few stick charges. Also holding on to the point, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see him go into Master Machines rather than heat-seeking missiles. Unless there's some sort of opportunity here with the Earthbird rolling in. Speaking of rolling though, that's a big old snowball here onto Play with Spark Wave, the shards keeping it in place, but now there's rotation coming through to try and turn this, but it will barely be enough to keep him safe. Prevent the kill, but not enough to turn it around onto the Aquad itself.
Both sides here eating through a lot of region.
He's baiting! He was baiting so hard! And he will not die. The Spark Wave onto the Creep Wave. Did you see that? I mean, that was crazy. Calm player. Sitting there with like 100 health points. Aquad was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you standing there? And then Earthbird rolls in again and they get the kill. That's crazy.
I could have sworn the Earthbird wasn't in range of that ward. Like, why does the Awkward even fall for that?
Well, top lane actually, looking at Doom, Scorcher coming in, but just a little bit too late. Earthbird, oh god, can't play. Now he's dead though.
So this is with
Earthbird, he rolled across here from behind the tower. So not actually from the sword.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it was a misplay because, I mean, you know, he saw the Earthbird before anyway.
Yeah.
He definitely should have known that, you know, there's potential for him to still be there. A little bit overzealous, I suppose.
Gonna go again on Saitama. Shadow Shaman dropping from back for the shackles. With the static link going, it's an easy kill. This Doom not having the best time up top, and we're talking about a draft about he's like the one frontliner. But he's only level 3 right now.
Radiant's top
I mean, he
tower
also
is
needs
under
smell,
attack.
right? Doesn't he? Is there something that you can do with an Earthbird rotation, or would you rather still focus on mid?
Radiant structures
Nah, you
are
can't really do that.
fortified.
I think you need to have the Doom just, you know, fall back into the jungle and devour creeps. I mean, it's still a Doom, right?
Yeah.
There's not much kill potential here. Maybe on the Shadow Shaman, but the creep wave keeps getting pushed in. And, I mean, nah. I think I'd much rather just see if maybe there's like a double roam potential with the Winter Wyvern into the mid lane potentially. Stack a couple of camps with the Tinker, of course, and then the Clinks. I think Clinks is actually going to be sort of like Terror Blade-esque carry in this type of scenario where he's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure. Yeah, we talked about, you know, technically like team fight scenario where when they're holding high ground, it's difficult for the Clinks to sort of like hold his ground and just front line, but in this game for like the next 20 minutes, or yeah, let's just say for the next 10 minutes or so, Clinks is going to be that hero to probably rotate and just try and find a couple of kills.
That is a dead shaman.
If anything, definitely, yeah, they can go for the shaman.
Yeah.
Good kill for them for sure, but they're never going to touch that Razor. Not in the near future anyway.
Target of opportunity here for the Earthbird at the very least. Almost level 3 now, so still a little bit behind of where it wants to be, but not the worst. I mean, compared to the task, he's still ahead. You have been part of some kills, and this is really the one big benchmark that you're looking for on a 4-roll roamer like this.
Underlord also being forced back into his own jungle. He does quite okay in the jungle. He can also just farm stacks, really. That's the power of the Firestorm.
Yeah. Top lane though, once again, using the Doom as a punching bag. Again, no rotations in to try and turn this around. As I say that though, Try comes in for the tier 2, and Chappie even sung to the shrine, and Fly Solo also part of the party. No Cold Embrace, and I might still lose the Doom, but he's juking through the trees. 1 down, 2 down, finally falls, but at what cost? Shadow Shaman next on the list, making a double kill for Chappie.
Yep.
Alright.
That's what we were referring to right earlier. The Clinks, very much like the Terrorblade we saw in the previous series, it's just gonna have to make those rotations because his damage output is insane this early on, not comparable to anybody on the map right now. And of course, if you know, this is the dream scenario, they're not paying any attention to him. They're diving at Doom, and he just gets to hit everybody for free effectively.
Yeah. I think they were setting up with the early kills on the Doom, right? I mean, Doom, no one responds, Doom just dies, and then like, oh yeah, let's just do that again. They won't respond to this, and then all of a sudden 3 more heroes show up, and you get wrecked, right?
Mid lane, Wyvern has to be careful here.
He does have to be indeed. The clone is out, and now with the help of the shots, they'll secure that kill. Sparkwave will even expire before Calm Player, before Amel. He can secure that extra kill. 180 gold. I mean, it's not really that great later on, but this early, it does make a difference. Especially for the Tinker going towards Boots of Travel.
Razor, he's sort of been...
Oh god, no. The greed, it's not always good. Try and a lot of trouble. Does get the roll off in the right angle, but the shots follow.
All the creeps get it!
What? Oh wow, they do!
Yeah. Oh, that's very fortunate for him, very unfortunate for the Dire, of course. Desperately wanted that kill, they invested 3 heroes for it after all. There's a Tempest double available in 3 seconds. This could be the solo kill here for the Arc Warden.
It could be, but Chappie, look at him. He focused on the real one. This is dead Arc Warden instead. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but I guess 1 for 1.5. Plus 180 for Clinks on top of that normal kill.
They also lose the Underlord Doom. The Underlord.
The Underdoom.
Solo kill from the Doom, actually.
Interesting.
Without using the Doom. That's even more interesting.
It
is running down with Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade, but
Infernal Blade is pretty damn strong, right? Let's be fair. All right.
But yeah, the Arc Warden doing what he has to do, killing the Tinker, delaying the BOT, those BOTs, which is really important. And of course, since he died after he got the kill, he gets the experience, and of course, the gold that you earn is reliable gold from that kill, so you don't lose that anyway.
Yeah. Go towards the minus.
That's that Underlord again, isn't it?
Oh. Looks like it, especially with Stone connecting. Yeah. Chappie just all over the map. He done exactly what he needs to do. He's sitting at 5k net worth here, 1,000 ahead of the Razor, who's had pretty much complete free farm. If you look at his last hits, up to 70.
Top lane, they want to set up for this Winter Wyvern.
Snowball comes across, will just barely connect, but is already flying inside the trees.
Wyvern cutting it a little bit close. I mean, she could see the touch earlier.
Oh. Look at this. Look at the spell spam. What is this hero? Right? What is this Arc Warden hero? He just, oh yeah, I press R and then I press like 20 million Spark Waves and whatever that other ability is called, the Flux. And then you're dead. It's like, ugh, disgusting.
Very much so. This is why this matchup is, I mean, yeah, again, Tinker has a good start, of course, with the laser, but, the longer this matchup goes on, the more Arc Warden favorite it is in this 1v1 scenario, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tinker just doesn't return to that mid lane at all and just tries to farm up the camps. There's no stack really prepared for him as far as I can tell, which sucks, but, it's a Tinker still. He'll manage for sure.
Setting up again on Underlord, but unable to really find the angle. He's hugging the tower right now. Catapult is still there here for the Radiant side if they want to try and hold on to that. Maybe they can make a push happen, at least keep Underlord down here. Meanwhile, mid though, Play did go back to the lane. This time though it was a bait to do onto the real Arc Warden. No clone shenanigans just yet, but Sigil slowing them down so hard, but still, one click from the Winter Wyvern with the Arctic Burn. Make sure they can get close enough to secure the kill. Razor deeping into a silence. Another one from Underlord now as they finally turn things around. Saitama with the root dropping lower and lower. Same for Fly Solo. No Cold Embrace still to save either one of them. 2-for-2 trade in the end. This middle lane.
What a pit of malice, really, hitting 2 heroes at the same time. Very unfortunate for the Arc Warden because the Radiant wanted to go into the jungle and kill the Razor. They scanned the Dire jungle and they were smoked up trying to invade the jungle, trying to kill the Razor. But then the Tusk initiates onto the mid, and just as the Winter Wyvern and the Doom pass by, so that's a free kill onto the Arc Warden. Arc Warden still gets the Midas though, and now this is where the clock starts ticking, right? This is where Arc Warden sort of like spirals out of control, or starts to spiral out of control, of course. This is just the beginning. But I like this ward coverage already from the Radiant. They're fully aware that this is going to start happening. You know, they want to keep tabs on whoever is farming this side of the map. And this is usually where you see Arc Warden spend most of his time. Yeah, also the other jungle, of course, but with the Razor occupying that one, if you do want to kill Arc Warden, this is the kind of ward coverage that you need.
Yep. But Boom ID, they also kind of try to preempt that with smoke rotation here as it stands. So they find the real Arc One, Chappie on the hunt again. Not quite with Orchid or Desolators now. He has to get the hell out of there.
That was just awkward.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm here. Oh, okay, cool. Goodbye.
I think he just realized, wait, I'm hitting him twice and I'm only like scratching him. Maybe I can't really kill him. I mean, this is like an Arc Warden with like what, 13 armor. It's not an easy kill, even for Kling standards.
At least not until he gets some extra damage output.
Tinker's so close to BOTs, he's been scouted out. Cannot join this fight. Tinker cannot join this fight. He needs to farm.
Shackles come out. Shadow Shaman kind of alone though, gets rolled on. Nice double stun. Actually also catches the Tusk in the backlines here. Now being run down with the silence. Make sure that he cannot snowball immediately. He will do that now. Nice little bit of malice, but that won't really help him too much. Oh, will it? Rocket is flying. Not enough though, with stick charges barely keeping himself alive, forcing him to go a little bit further. Saitama really wants to get this kill, but he can't find him in the tree. The shard's blocking up this one particular path that he was looking for. So instead, the Doom ends up falling instead, now flies solo. He still has to cover the much. That'll barely be enough to keep him safe.
Radiant structures
and mid lane, in the meantime, Arc Warden pushing the lane. Chappie though also pushing the top wave. So a good trade though for the Dire, regardless. But yeah, unfortunately they don't really get the big kill. They get the Doom, but they wanted the Tinker. They set up a ward inside the enemy jungle as well, and they sort of were trying to lure the Tinker into the fight.
Speak of wards, Fly Solo almost dies to the one salvo. Finally has to leave.
Chappie is here, I believe. They've binged it out. Well, now they know.
They do indeed. And looks like they should also be able to finish up these.
BOT's completed onto the Tinker. That's what their clock starts ticking, right?
Yeah.
BOT Tinker, that's a very important timing. Yeah, 14 minutes in, it's not the best timing, but all things considered, it's still fairly good. Desolator on Clinks as well, so he can start creating space for that Tinker by pushing down towers, by being part of team fights, you know. It's also one of those scenarios, you know, it's another Invis hero, so you need more Invis detection again.
Yep.
You need that map control, you need more map control, right? And this is going to starve out the supports who already don't have much as it is.
1, 2, Snowball will use Warless Punch. 3, 4, 5, gets it off just in time. Now the rest of the team coming through. Nice little double stun, magnetize and silence here to the Razor as well as the Underlord. They bring down one. The Shackles will keep trying away for a little bit, but now the Winter's Curse setting up for Chappie here. The Hex will prevent the death of the Shadow Shaman, but only just. They do lose the Earth Spirit.
Dire's bottom tower
Could have turned out so much worse here if Chappie just got 1 or 2 more right clicks off on these heroes.
For sure, for sure. This was, again, this fight came down to the ward. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, they had 2 wards here in that area, and one of them just gave them so much vision for those kills. They had to deal with it in the middle of the fight, right? That hill ward. Without that hill ward, Chappie doesn't get the kill. And Tusk was fully worried, like, why does he hit me through Fog of War? Oh, they have a hill ward.
Balance the scale.
Now immediately smoke up again, you know, just want to keep the pressure going, not slowing down whatsoever. Now making their way up top. This is the real Arc Warden.
middle tower is under
for Roche
farming here.
Desolator. Did they have to move down yet? Nope. Oh yeah, I guess they don't need it. But I mean,
this is
kind of Roche.
Oh, Dire, they scanned it though, and I believe I believe Try actually went into that area. So they should know that this is happening. Do they want to contest it though? It doesn't appear to be the case.
Well, they smoked up now, but this is going to be way too late.
Yeah. We'll find a DD rune.
They could potentially still try and look to fight if they catch somebody off guard. Maybe. Nah, they won't find anybody. Not for now, anyway. But you know, this is all time where Arc Warden is just farming. Maelstrom now completed. He's going to accelerate his farm. I wonder what he's going to go for next. He has the Shadow Blade queued up. I know that I think it was the Summit. They were discussing, you know, best Arc Warden builds. Should it be Shadow Blade? Should it be BOTs? I believe Sumail was in favor of the BOTs simply because it creates space. You know, you push out the sideways, so it just creates a lot of space for the rest of the teammates. I agree with it, really. I really do. But I wonder if maybe with the Shadow Blade he's going to play a little bit more aggressively. Maybe help his teammates early on in those fights.
Yeah. Eventually he'll have both more than likely anyway, so... with the way this game's been going, like, unless Cloud Gamers can actually turn this into more objectives, he's still gonna have all the time in the world to farm that up, right?
That is definitely a good point. They have yet to really find the Arc Ward inside the jungle, right? Most of the kills, I believe all of the kills were actually in the lane.
I believe so, yeah.
But yeah, in general, it's actually kind of surprising how bad College Gamers' control over the enemy Dire jungle is, considering they did take the tier 1 top already. They haven't really put much effort into trying to push out the mid tower, which is, again, surprising because against, you know, Arc Warden, you definitely want control of the jungle as soon as possible so you can actually kill him. But for now, they haven't really...
They're fixing that now, though, right?
Too much. Well, yeah, the tier 2 is definitely also really important, but I think the tier 1 mid is much more important, actually, in that regard. But, you know,
the Underlord.
Tower is tower.
Yeah. Tower's tower, kill is kill. Mytos, I don't think he'll survive this one.
All attacks arena?
Ultimate. Yeah. Nope. Still a long wind-up.
Uber cancelled on him.
He did get the Crimson Guard out there.
Not good. You don't want to lose an Aegis like that. Without that Cold Embrace, that's an Aegis gone.
It's calculated, Skim. Just relax.
Very calculated, for sure.
They don't get the tower though, not a whole lot of damage done because of the Crimson Guard that the Underlord got off, so that's his first major item before even the mech or even upgraded boots or anything.
Yeah, that's
so,
very good.
Yeah.
He needs it. They need as many defensive items against the physical damage as possible, you know.
Oh, what? No, okay, that's just a clone.
Yeah. For the supports, even, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, that's the Aegis though, with the Tempest double. Nice.
What a hero. What a hero.
Yeah.
4 heroes around him, you still get the kill, quote unquote.
But yeah, for the supports, I wouldn't even mind just getting a casual, like, Ring of Protection, really. They need armor to survive the initial onslaught from the Desolator Clinks. Maybe even still see a medallion from the Tusk.
Medallion, maybe casual buckler or something like that even. Could make a huge difference. But now it's still the Arc Warden show, like they're holding out for him, and it's not even just him. I mean, Raze is also farming quite nicely. He does have at least a casual hood to protect himself against all its magic damage from the Tinker to some extent. And now he's going to the Sanjin Yasha, as he mentioned here, with the with the drums as well as the face boots already up and running.
Pretty standard build. I think the only question is he going to complete the pipe? I kind of think he should, just because the rest of the team certainly could use some protection against the magic damage as well. It's also just, you know, I mean, if you have the slot already dedicated to magic damage protection, might as well just go all in.
Yeah.
Obviously, getting the Sanjin Yasha first is the priority because Sanj is also a very good item here, both defensively and offensively, of course. Smoking now coming out from the Dire side. Can't really find anybody there, which is very unfortunate. They're even committing with the Arc Warden. A bit surprising here.
Yeah, I mean, still no wood to travel, but good the TP scroll for emergencies. Same time, Clutch Gamers. So we're on the other side of the map here. The TP to Tink up top might just do it again now, just to keep the pressure up here. Because doing some damage to the tier 3 seems to be quite juicy for now, though they finished up the tier 1 in mid. This is the more important target at this stage in the game.
This is now the control of the jungle that I was referring to earlier, right?
Yeah.
With that tower gone, it's almost impossible for the Dire to sort of like reclaim that control.
Look at the smelt.
This is insane. This is Clinks, the power of Clinks.
Live a little bit too late here. The strafe already wore off. So they're slowing it down as much as they possibly could have. So it's a 2-for-1 tower trade, and they still force it back because the top lane is being pushed in. Relatively good exchange for Clutch Gamers, I would say, but the ward's also committed.
For sure, but if you're Boom ID again, I almost think you're fine with this trade because you were going to lose control of your jungle anyway, and this way you also get access to the enemy.
Why? Mass DPs, but it's too late. He's already dead, isn't he? Oh, Cold Embrace just in time. Now the Winter goes to bring down the Tusk. I spoke too soon. But that was such a
Very
weird
close.
position to do that. I mean, he's outside the base just spamming marches. Why are you not doing that on the high ground? It's so weird.
Yep. He does have a blink dagger, of course, so he could technically always position himself in a very safe position. Top lane, Underlord, getting nuked down by the Tinker.
That's a Takaya now. Well, barely not enough damage. Holy hell. Just had one more round of spells, with the mana pool, and I would have done the trick.
Once again reveals the ward though. He's like, hey, the only way he hits that rocket is because of the ward, right?
Yeah.
So.
Sentry ward coming out immediately.
Oh, the clings. He's gonna make it possible. Oh my god.
Double damage.
Alright, we've all been there, right? Anybody that plays support has been there. Trying to
Yeah.
de-ward and then Invis Hero shows up and just kills you.
2 arrows and I'm die or something? I don't know.
Or something along those lines.
And also just solo this
Dire's
tower
bottom
easily.
tower is under attack.
Feels like the Dire are sort of like losing the grip onto that they had onto this game, right? The Arc Warden we haven't really felt his impact in a while now. Yeah, he had like the Tempest double down there against the Tinker, but he's not really pushing out the waves. He's not like threatening a tower. He's not really accomplishing much. I mean, he has to farm, of course, but he's not really doing much. Similar to the Razor though as well. I mean, have we really seen the Razor be involved in many kills since like the
Not
laning
really,
stage?
no. He hasn't
Right.
really done too much. It's mostly been clutch gamers taking the better trades in terms of objectives, getting a couple of kills here and there, just down to Chappie, just being all over the map and feeling extremely confident. And also Tinker, just continuing to push out the lanes, not really being caught out. And as a Doom, they find him inside the tree line. He is so dead. Especially with the stun coming through. Not quite hitting anybody else. That aesthetic link will be interrupted. Now, nice little magnetic field to ensure that the Shadow Shaman survives a little bit longer with Chappie in the middle. And the rest of the power here, especially with Tinker, unimpeded from the backline, just dropping spell after spell. Just like that, 3 heroes down, plus another tier 2 tower. I mean, this Wrecking Ball just... Is it stoppable right now for Boomadi?
It doesn't seem to be the way. They don't have good deep push outside of the Razor, really. What does Arc Warden do in this kind of scenario?
Stun will just hit. Axel slows, another fortification plus a magnetic field. Makes it a little bit tricky. Like, the power of the Arc Warden.
Tempest double. Yeah, it's not looking good, and this is why I think the BOTs would have been better on the Arc Warden, being able to split push. Like the Tempest, he could have set a Tempest double now to the top lane already, to mid lane, something along those lines, right? With that, he could also threaten the Tinker much more often, but he doesn't really get that access. Like he's really just not getting anywhere.
Well, certainly need him to do something soon. I mean, that was the last pick. That was supposed to be like the gotcha moment, because as strong as the hero is, he's not really in a position where he would say that it's a very common pick, right? Very rarely see him actually being played.
No. For good reason, you know, it's difficult to bring the hero online. It's difficult to build a lineup around him as well, because as strong as he might be, and as much as he can like solo kill people and farm, it's difficult to just straight up close out a game with him.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it almost feels like BoomID don't really want to like take control of the game at all. If anything, they're just like waiting for clutch gamers to come to their doorstep, and then they'll just do something. Because they're playing so passive, they're not even trying to smoke up and doing anything at all. The one pushing at the wave top is the Shadow Shaman, right? I feel like if it was any other team, if it was like a team that maybe is more confident in their own abilities, they'd probably like smoke up with a gem and just trying to find a kill on anybody. Yep. What they're doing right now is just like sitting in their base, just I guess like slowly and just whittling at the pre-wave. But as soon as they push out one wave, they fall back. Like Razor, Underlord, in their own base again, just waiting for something to happen.
Something is the Tinker, again, just bouncing between the side lanes for the most part. And now with the catapult, that'll hit the tower like once or twice, and eventually that'll turn into an actual building destroyed.
Top lane, are they really just going to sit and wait here for the Tinker? I mean, I feel like any half-decent Tinker would realize this is not going to work out for him if he ever TP's up there. Like, he saw the Tempest double up there, right? He's not seen anybody mid, he's not seen anybody bottom, really. And they have a really good ward bottom as well. So, yeah, I feel like this is very telegraphed. The idea of, hey, we want to catch a Tinker.
That's it. Just get Roche, Aegis, and Cheese. She's actually still sitting in the pit. Nobody actually wants it.
Stun onto the Tusk.
Yeah, it's much more juicy. I prefer meat over cheese, Kim.
I mean, I do too as well. Actually,
meat and cheese is the best. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's gonna have to go back to that. There you go.
Well, this
it's
game
fine. I want it.
Game is not looking good for Boom ID right now, which, you know, considering the net worth of the Arc Warden feels weird, but just Arc Warden, he needs to be ahead in terms of net worth.
Yeah.
He's fallen so far behind, and again, he's farming very scared. He should be out, not necessarily out farming the Tinker, but I think he should definitely be on or be able to keep up. But he's just very, very scared right now, and part of that is the Klings, but part of it is also, I think, just the lack of confidence in their own abilities.
Yeah. He's so scared. I mean, the actual Arc Warden just hasn't really left the base in a while, hasn't he? I mean, he's only been sending out the Tempest double without the boots of travel, as you mentioned. It's very hard to actually get that anywhere close to a point where that opens up more space along the map for the rest of your team.
Oh. Again, they're just all grouped up inside their own base, not even trying to do anything. They're just sitting here waiting for something to happen. Any team by now would have tried to go for a smoke gank. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Any team would just try and look for a smoke gank, right?
Smart.
Yeah, maybe you don't get the Tinker, but even just killing the Doom, killing the Klings, obviously, even killing one of those supports would just alleviate a little bit of the pressure. And it's not like you have like huge ultimates that you would need to commit. You don't need to like commit like awards for a kill. If you just find like a Wyvern, just hexing, shackling should be enough.
Yeah.
But they're not even trying for it. They're just waiting for the Tinker top again, I guess. But again, it's got it out now. This is a very futile attempt, really.
Yeah, I don't know, Clutch Gamers, they have all the time in the world to do what they want now. It's just a Tempest double. But it's a real one in the backlines. The one time that leaves the base, he's being punished so hard. And that's maybe the opening that we're waiting for. Just if nothing else, a magnetic field is super freaking annoying to deal with when you want to push down the high ground.
On the Klings, he can just sit there and just hit.
There's no glyph. There's a glyph available in a couple of seconds actually, so can withstand this initial strafe. But how do they fight into this? I mean, it's gonna have to be Razor just charging in with the snowball as well, but it's only the Tusk. That's not really going to work. It just gets annihilated by the Tinker. A couple of extra spells being thrown out. Chappie looks like he might just have to use his Aegis. Yeah, he doesn't really mind. Power with the Crimson Guard makes it a little bit more tricky, so it's like a semi-glyph as well in its own right. But the March spam just doesn't stop, and now Tribe with a double stun back. Megatus comes through. Doom on the Underlord. No more spells from him, and they just have to scuttle him back to the fountain. Rocket's following him all the way up, and no, that's the first set of Rex. 30 minutes in, 17k, almost 18k net worth of advantage to Razor, rejoining ahead. But hey, Winter's Curse hasn't even been used just yet. Gonna get that secondary kill and Shadow Shaman because of it. And the Razor. And the Arc Warden here, that's Tempest double in front, Magnetic Field. He's just throwing out whatever spells he can, but it's not nearly enough at this point. Finally, they're starting to drop low, but Chappie even took the cheese over from the Doom, so back up to full health, full mana. Can just continue at mid if he really wants to. I mean, there's a Catapult wave coming now, I want to say, yeah. Just going bottom here, they set up for that a little bit earlier, so down half health.
This is quite brutal to watch, honestly. Boom ID, it doesn't really feel like they know how to approach this game at all. It's very scrappy how they're trying to defend here. Like earlier, like why do they even go for that? You know, with Arc Warden down, they only need to really chip damage, just fall back. Except the fact that you can see the racks and just wait for the Arc Warden to be up, but instead they would like lose 3 heroes. What have we here? I guess they do get the Aegis, which is nice. Oh, top lane, maybe the Tinker. Is this it? Is this it?
Nope. You tried.
I tried. You know,
you tried to cheer them on, but it wasn't quite enough. Like, you have to say something like, oh yeah, this Tinker is completely unstoppable in this situation, because then the Castle's Curse kicks in, you know?
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how the Dire come back from this. I mean, I keep suggesting stuff, but they never do it, you know? Well,
they can't hear you, hopefully, so...
I mean, would that even change anything? I mean... Oh, that's,
yeah.
The
Sounds up
Underlord.
to Doom, but don't even...
They used to be an Underlord. Honestly, alright, let's let's talk about Clutch Gamers. Really strong performance from them. This Earth Spirit, by the way, really clutch stuns and silences. You know, after the Winter's Curse, immediately stunned them up and silenced them up at the same time. Really strong performance to them. Very solid, really.
It's almost at a point where they can invoke the old meme. Like, you're playing against Clutch Gamers. Like, you don't ban Earth Spirit because you can counter it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still holding on to this building for some reason. There's with big fields, the Crimson Guard and whatever. Chappie in the front. No Aegis, no cheese this time, but still killing people. They have the Cold Embrace to take that over. It's like, it's not even exciting anymore because it's just going one way. There's not even a way for Boom ID to go into this fight properly. The Doom comes through and the real Arc Warden slowed down, try to follow. Nice little snowball save actually. Now Razor with the BKB, but it's still being slowed down. Tinker can continue to destroy on spells even though the damage drain will fuel up the Razor quite a bit. So this is more like it. He can't play, ends up falling finally here, but with the Bloodstone that he has back in 10 seconds. Flight Soul will buy a little bit more space, punch him in the end. There'll be a secondary casualty and still haven't taken the tier 3 tower. Oh man.
You know, see, the thing is, I feel like this looks a little bit deceptive. Yeah, they turn it around, but this is more because Clutch Gamers just overextended way too much, right? This is not because, oh yeah, they totally set like a trap and they like took him off guard. They approached from an off angle. No, they were literally just sitting there. Tinker just blinks in way too aggressively, and they just turn it around. I feel like the way Boom ID is playing is very uninspired. They're not even trying like to just throw the enemy off guard. Like honestly, the Arc Warden pick was the most surprising thing in this entire game thus far. Yeah. Everything else is almost very predictable the way they've been playing. It's very basic as well. You know, they literally ran past one of the most standard wards you could think of in the Dire jungle, and it cost them the Arc Warden's life.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
I feel like they're not necessarily disconnected, but it feels like they're just a couple of steps and tiers behind Clutch Gamers right now. At least in this game. I mean, it's definitely a mental thing as well, where you know when the early game goes rough, it becomes really difficult to focus on the right things and on the basic things. So
that's the thing, right? The best teams, they always have some sort of plan, some sort of idea of how they can still win the game. Right? Also one of the reasons why I love Liquid so much. Like, they don't really give up. Penta as well, on a bit of a lower level. But they don't give up. They're always just trying to find this angle, trying to find this series of events that they need to try and make happen to still win the game. But now double invis. Oh, look at him. Taken down immediately. Same for the other guy. Blade Mail doesn't really do anything.
He actually used the Doom? No, he didn't.
No.
Because he doesn't need to.
The Razor did some of the damage here. Buyback on Arc Warden, but Links. The Glyph will delay this tower kill as well. The Snowball across, Cold Embrace to heal him up a little bit. Now Complay taking over with the Curse one more time. Magnetic Field makes it a little bit awkward for both ways. And Doom, I don't know why he went in there. That was a little bit too bold. Pop a couple of BKBs from both sides. Jumbo and Dak actually now. Razor starting to steal some more damage. Fly Solo left to his own devices.
Gem, I believe, yeah, on the Arc Warden.
Yeah.
Somebody lost it. Fly Solo lost it. I guess this is their win condition. Just wait for the Clutch Gamers to make like really stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's what you can always.
I could understand, you know, Clutch Gamers doing this if they were like had 2 set of reds. I think that's very easy to fall into that trap of overconfidence. You know, you're doing pretty well, but they're actually getting Boom ID back into the game. Well, I say back into the game, even though obviously, you know, Clutch Gamers is still ahead like 22k, 23k almost. But still, those kills are, you know, not that shabby. And then suddenly Arc Warden is sitting in the Roche pit. If they don't know about this, he might just get this.
Yeah.
Oh, they're pinging it out. They're pinging it out.
They have to collect themselves. I mean, Chappie, he could go on a secret vision, trying to go in there, but there are statues down.
He can't go in there himself. They have a gem after all.
And that too, yeah.
This is actually just cheese and pressure. Oh my god!
No rearm in time here. He's also in this with a Glimmer Cape, I believe.
Yeah, that's a refresher shard now. Available for, I guess, the Razor?
He has it right now. I mean, you get like 3 clones if you do that, or
no? I'm pretty sure the first double just disappears.
Bad. Well,
Dire's courier has been killed.
Dire's courier dies.
No item on it anyway.
Like, just still have this map control. Like,
Damn, look at
as soon as they're back alive.
Farm. That is so bad, actually. Arc Warden needs to be ahead. Like, he should be where the Tinker is at right now. Instead, he's below his own Razor.
God. He still doesn't have the Boots of Shell. Finally picks him up now. Like 10 minutes ago, he was looking for it still. Very, very slow item progression.
Yep. Well, Daedalus on the Klings. With a Skadi next, he should be able to sustain better in those sieges. In some way, he can actually be the frontliner, of course, you know, with sufficient items, of course. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just waited out the Aegis. There's no need to fight into the Aegis. And I mean, hey, knowing Boom ID, they won't even try anything with the Aegis anyway, right?
Well, we'll certainly see. I mean, it still feels like Clutch Gamers. I mean, of course, we know they are ahead still. We see the metrics. But they're also playing like they know the same thing, even though they have lost a couple of heroes here in that last attempt to go high ground.
Oh, of course, I definitely think you still feel ahead of your Clutch Gamers.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely know that you're still ahead, and I think you... The thing is, as much or as badly as Boom ID might have played up until now, it is still, you know, an Arc Warden. It is still the Underlord siege, or the siege against the Underlord, right? It's not easy to just push into that.
Yep.
So I think they're just taking it slow, playing it safe, again, waiting for the Aegis most likely to run out, and just building the item advantage and just increasing the chances of them winning the fight. So I expect something like the Hex from the Tink. Actually, he almost has it. The Clinks, you know, again, the Skadi, Doom, potentially, I guess he's going for the Shiva Scud. I would have said, you know, something, maybe Hex for himself, maybe something like the EC. But yeah, just wait for those couple of items and then you can just commit for it.
Yep. I think a Shadow Shaman actually could be significant. Like Hex initiation. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of Clutch Gamers finding the right angle. Maybe getting the kill on the proper Arc Warden, just to try and prevent the magnetic fields from being super annoying. Either that, or at least the Underlord with the Crimson Guard. As it stands right now, by the time they push, they'll have another glyph available as well in 40 seconds. What's the time on the Aegis? 2 minutes still, so yeah.
I doubt that Clutch Gamers will do anything before that. Although they're grouping up right now. God damn it. Clutch Gamers, please don't make me eat my words. It does not make sense to just push in now.
In a long, long time. They see them on the low ground. The Doom comes through here on top of the Winter's Curse here. Razor with the BKB, wasting a lot of time with that. And now someone across to one side. Meanwhile, Tinker in the back though, looking to try and bring down the Arc Warden, but the Taxi service is there in time. Doesn't quite... Tusk, he misses it. He's got thrown under the Taxi instead of into it. And he drops the gem again, so that has been recovered. Did they pick up another one in the meantime? Nah, I think that's still the initial one from Fly Solo.
The way that Clutch Gamers grouped up there, it almost was like as if they had the Aegis. They're like, oh, Aegis runs out in 2 minutes. Let's just group up and try and fight with it. You know, I do think that, you know, with their positioning, they could have potentially just took them by surprise and just won the fight straight up. You know, with the Winter's Curse, that was actually a pretty good Winter's Curse in theory. But unfortunately, they did not get Boom ID, and Boom ID Aegis should just run out pretty soon.
Minute or so. Yeah.
Almighty money.
Well, I guess they could try it again. Also, was that the first smoke that they used this entire game?
I think so.
It felt like it. I certainly can't recall another smoke.
Alright, gem repurchased here. Tusk really wants to have that available against multiple endless heroes here on the side of Clutch Gamers. But I feel like it's just a matter of time until the Clutch Gamers just pull the trigger and stop messing around, essentially, right?
Yep. But again, they definitely want to wait for the Aegis now. I say that even though again, we talked earlier. Oh,
BKB's Refresher Orb actually on a Razor, on Refresher Shard coming through. Winter's Curse again, but Shadow Shaman has already been taken care of. Champion, Zone BKB running out. It's silenced up here in a very compromised position, but forced down to low ground into the arms of the Tusk, where he gets hexed up, brought down by Tinker. Another set of lasers. They'll secure that kill. 2 for nothing so far. Roll across back up to the high ground here. Hexes, lasers, they not even losing try here because of Cold Embrace. And now, Taxi for 1 this time with another Underlord ultimate.
Taxi for 1 sounds like a novel.
Probably is, honestly.
They're good kills. I can't believe everybody survived. Huge plays by the Earthspread yet again. You know, blinks in, kicks out the Clinker, Clinks out of range. Really huge play. The Wyvern also with the defensive Winter's Curse, making sure that the Underlord can't just jump onto the Doom on top of him. And they force out the buyback.
Here we go again. This is what Tinker just becomes like, hey, I have lasers. I have an ion cannon like that. And Doom on Razor, another BKB charge, that's gonna time out now. He might not even make it back to base, honestly.
Die back.
And yeah, he dies back. Another buyback from the Underlord, just trying to do what he can. There's also still Arc 1 right clicking about. Try lower and lower here, gets rooted up, couple extra right clicks, but finds a roll. But still dies. Alright, alright.
Oh, he's rolling in. Hex up.
Yeah, no.
Such a strong performance from Armor. Like his Klings, sorry, his Tinker has been on point this entire game.
Yeah.
Klings also in the meantime took down the bottom range, or actually bottom's complete Rex.
Yeah.
What have we
Yeah,
here?
this is Clutch Gamers playing it very safe, honestly. They're not overextending, they're making sure they're getting the better trades. And I believe after they shrine up, they probably will just try and go for another kill here with the smoke.
I mean, they have bought back on Earthbird, so they realize, hey, there's no buybacks on buyback on Razor. We can win the game right now with the next push, at least
One
Mega
pick off, it should be Ceterax, and then Mega clears. This Arc Warden finally has more farm than his own Razor.
Because Razor bought back, right?
Yeah. It's definitely
they're smoking in up to the high ground. Chappie just easily gets rid of the tower, and there it is. Double combo. Two more heroes.
Middle barracks has fallen.
Bit of an anticlimactic ending, perhaps, but it is the GG.
Dyer's middle barracks.
What a game. What a game indeed. It's, I don't know, honestly. I don't know what to say. Boom ID, I think they were just completely outclassed here.
It certainly seemed like it. I mean, the draft wasn't that bad. Like, we were talking about how strong the Arc Warden can be, but it never really got to the point because he didn't play like an Arc Warden needs to play.
Played very scared, to be honest. In general, I do think that this entire team, it felt like they weren't entirely sure what to do, and they didn't really know, you know, when do we try and force the fight, when do we fall back, when do we just farm. They were very scared, which I can understand. You're playing up against the Klings, right? But at some point, you just need to commit to like a gem and just try and find the Klings, or just try and find a pick-off in general. There was like a definitely like 10-15 minute time window where they could have easily just tried and hunt for some kill, right? They smoke up and hunt for a kill. Especially if they had built BOTs on the Arc Warden instead of the Shadow Blade, he would have always been able to take part in those fights with the Tempest Double at least, right? So you could just sit back in the lane, sit back in the jungle, farm up, have the Tempest Double join his team in a fight, and you just sort of like take control of the map that way. But instead, they were just sitting in their own base and very afraid. And then they were sitting top for like 5 minutes trying to pick off the Tinker in the most obvious gank attempt in the world.
They were wasting so much time, not really getting anywhere. So, like, Clutch Gamers just following the book of Dota, just control the map, just farm up to a point where you're super comfortable. Like, the only reason the game has gone as long as it did was because, as you said, they overextended a little bit. They gave a couple of kills over to Boom ID that they didn't necessarily have to even, right? So, the end result is still the same. Like, they had more than enough of a buffer to actually allow for that. And as a result, Clutch Gamers probably coming in as favorites here into the series anyway, but they take away game number 1. One more game win, and they will be the opponents for TNC Pro Team in the finals.
Yeah, and they're looking really sharp. It is worth noting though that I mean, at least for this game, like Boom ID was not like a no offense to them, but right, it's not comparable to like another opponent, right? Even in the previous series where we had GeekFam, right? I feel like TNC beating GeekFam was much more impressive just because GeekFam put in a really strong performance, right?
That was perhaps the most competitive series that we've seen
exactly.
so far.
But then we see like Clutch Gamers absolutely stomping Boom ID. It's really difficult to then say, all right, how is Clutch Gamers, you know, in comparison to TNC right now? That's why I hope that going forward in this series now, in Game 2, we see a different Boom ID, right? Let's just, hopefully they are able to reset. That's the most important part. Just make sure that you, not necessarily forget Game 1, but you realize, all right, this is Game 2. We can totally do something completely different. Maybe this was a little bit out of the comfort zone. I don't know. Maybe have something else that is totally in your comfort zone off. But just reset, really. Just
with any Arc Warden pick, it almost always feels like some sort of pocket strat, right? Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what they can do. Boom ID will have one more chance to keep themselves alive in this tournament. We'll see what happens in just a couple of moments' time, so stay tuned.